Right, for this programme, you find us at Farlows Lake, Ivor Langley. It's a place I've fished for donkey's years. It's got a massive head of carp. The thing I like most about it is it's not like Simos, which are pellet-driven fish and sparsely scoured carp. You never quite know what you're going to catch at Farlows. The Boy Leisure fish are... that was a bleep behind you then, wasn't it? We've got one rod fishing, okay? This is the second one, so I'm just forewarning you, if I dart out of sight, it's because I've got one laid in the margins. Right, for snag fishing though, ultimately it's fairly obvious, it's self-explanatory. You're fishing against branch or near branches that are covered in pea mussels, zebra mussels, other people's other people's tackle that's snapped off, and so you want strong, robust gear, okay, that's going to handle the situation, but you also have to balance it. It's not just a case of beach casters. What we've got here first off is I've got a 12-foot 3-pound rod that I use for nearly all my fishing. It's quite a soft tip action because I end up using quite small hooks, okay, so we're balancing our tackle. I've used stronger rods, your pull hooks, your straighten hooks, or you even break line because of the power of the rod, and I've used softer rods, 12-foot 2.5s. Well, ultimately then the fish, you haven't got quite the backbone in the butt section of the rod to pull them away, to steer them away from the snags so they get in, cutting you off. So these rods I'm using here, 12-foot 3-pounders, perfect for this, also perfect for the other stuff because I can punch them a long way, but they suit my style of fishing. They cover most of it. Always worry about the strength of your gear, as I'm going to bang on about this for the next couple of 3 minutes, because it is, you know, snags. Everything's going to cut you off, the fish is going to do you. So we've got 15-pound Barkley XT line, which I've never had break, and let's hope we don't today, because I look a bit of an egg on my face, wouldn't I? That's fed through to a 20-pound, again it's Barkley, and I will bang on about it because it's good kit. You know, I do this fishing quite a bit, and I trust the kit, I've used it for years. Barkley 20-pound, 100% fluorocarbon leaders. It comes in a great big spool. I think it's 550 yards. It's not that expensive, and you'll get like 2 or 3 years worth of leaders out of that. So sinks to the bottom, totally invisible, and very, very abrasive resistant. So it's worth, it's all these little percentages are insurances that you're going to get the fish that you've waited hours for into the bottom of your net, okay? So comes down to the rig end, nice little drop off lead. Now bear in mind, the line tangles around the branches, there ain't really a lot you can do about it. It's either going to cut or you're going to pull it out. That gets round the branches, it's gone. That will cost you more fish losses by retaining that lead than you'll ever imagine, because the only thing on that line that isn't streamlined as you look at it is a bomb hanging there. So that's definitely on offer for a tangle. Do we all agree on that? Oh, I think we should. So that will come off and disappear. Absolute must. You don't want carp snagged and snared. Brings us down to the bottom bit. I've got a little quick change link, a bit of sleeving on it because your rig can work your way round and off that. And I've finished it off with, we've got an ultra really sharp little, I think to be fair, it's a Nash, what are they called? Hang on, I'll get one out. I will get one out. It's a fang twister. It's almost a long shank wide gape. As soon as I saw them, that was me buying, and I don't get given them, I'm buying these things at £5 a packet, but they are so sharp. For any style of fishing, hook sharpness is the must. But, you know, more so in this, you need to hook it, you need to get them out of there, you need a strong, sharp hook. These fit the bill for me. That's twinned with some 25-pound plastic coated hook link. Again, light braid, nylon, it doesn't do snag fishing. Any tiny little twig, pea mussel, zebra mussel, like I'm saying, is sharp object, nylon braid gone. This plastic coated stuff, you know, the cat anglers use it, so it's going to work in here, and it's the best. You know, none of it's foolproof, but it's the best I've ever used because of the abrasive resistant. Tiny little balanced yellow thing. Doesn't matter whose yellow thing it is. I use E-Throws, but you know all the yellow things are yellow, aren't they? That'll go down with a little bag and sit in there. Again, we're not trying to feed these fish in the snags. We're not trying to boost it right up. I've put a little bit of corn in. I've put a little bit of hemp in the swim. But we want bright objects, okay? So we're not on about dark baits where they're going to look at them for hours on end or miss them. Something bright. We're in the snags. You've got resident fish. I've been around. There's about a dozen fish in there. We want to home in on that straight away. We want a fast bite, get it out, possibly 2 bites, then move, okay? There's other snags to be visited. So everything we've gone through there is as strong in, I mean, I've got, God knows out, I don't want to tell you how many years experience at this because I'm getting old now, but so many years at doing this. This is what I trust 101%, if that's actual figure, for fishing these sort of situations. So now what I'm going to do is, I've got one rod in, over to the far side where I've put a bit of corn out. I know I've been round there, there's a dozen or more fish within the area, so it's about time we also plop a lead back on that, and we'll sit that in the edge along the bank here where there's another half a dozen fish sitting, and I fed them all. So it can't catch fish in my hand. Let's get it in the water. Time for zig fishing. Where I am in this bay, it's alive with fish. I haven't caught anything yet, by the way, but that's what we're going to remedy. Zig fishing. Buoyant hook baits up in the water. Most of the time, as you will know, or I'm about to tell you, carp aren't on the bottom. They visit the bottom of a lake to feed. Most of the time, they're about 2/3 of the way up in the water, and this is where we can nail them, and they feel quite safe there. But the last 4 or 5 years, zig fishing has really took off. I've had some of my biggest fish on zigs. I say it's really took off. I still see more people not doing it than doing it, but maybe after this that will change. What we've got is a normal drop-off lead. It doesn't matter about your leader. I don't do it with lead core or tubing because my zig tends to grab it on the cast. So just a fluoro lead or normal nylon, because bear in mind we're not trying to hide this section because your hook bait's up in the water. Okay, so that little drop-off lead, it will come off if snagged because we're using quite a light hook link, but we'll get to that in a minute. Put that back on there. So we've got a drop-off lead. I like to use the smallest lead I can get away with. Friends of mine use 4s and 5s and like to really bang them on the take, but I've found a 7 or 8 or 10 foot hook link bouncing up and down with a 4 or 5 ounce bomb. I've lost a lot of fish doing that. So now what we've got on here, got a 2 ounce one. Now I'll be an ounce, ounce and a half or 2 ounce, whatever I need, purely to reach the distance I'm fishing. Past that, I never use a quick change link because mine here, this is 8 pound Pro Clear. Don't want to use fluoro because fluoro by nature sinks anyway. Now it probably wouldn't sink all that, but I want everything on my side, so little percentages count. 8 pound Pro Clear in relatively clear water. By clear I mean no snags. 10 pound Pro Clear if there's a bit of weed, maybe a few pads about, okay? So you can't go much heavier than that because it defeats the object of the zig. It's meant to be invisible. I'll tie it to a ring swivel. If you put 10 pound or 8 pound mono with an overhand knot to a quick change link, it will snap on the take. So we don't want any of that, or during the fight when the fish is zigzagging about. So we're down to there and we're tied on, right down to the hook bait. Buoyant foam. Seems to be the best, fairly obviously it doesn't lose its buoyancy because of its consistency, because of the nature of the product. But that, knotless knotted, above a size 12 mugger hook, is the best presentation I've come up with. And those who fish with me, we've all played about with different hooks, different lengths, different baits, and again this system here is so aggressive the way that sits. And on tutorials, interestingly enough, I tried loads of hooks. Now most of my tutorial clients have never caught a fish on a zig, so they were losing quite a lot of fish. Well, when I changed to a size 12 mugger, to be fair to Gardener Tackle, 90% success rate now. So it's worth listening to just on that point alone. Whatever you use on the end is down to you guys, but buoyant foam, squeeze it, bite it, do what you want with it. It will not lose its buoyancy, so you can leave it out there for days on end if you have to. So that's the way to do it. We're going to throw that in the pond now and see if we can catch one of these fish that are teasing us with their backs out of the water and rolling and jumping. But that's what we're going to have a go with. We've got about 6 foot of water, we've got probably 4.5 foot of zig. I tend to go 2/3 of the way up because you've got less to cover that way then if you're going up than that way, because you want to adjust them, and I'm constantly rearranging the length of the hook link to find the band they're in, because they will be at one band, the warmest water, whatever they feel comfortable in, they'll be in that zone. When you find it, it's Bite City, but it can take you a few hours of messing around with hook links to find it, so no good in my hand, is it? Let's throw it in the lake and see what we can come up with. Thank you very much.